Episode 5 out of 6. I'm seeing a lot of, trust me, Chibnall knows what he's doing. And this man has a plan. And he does. That plan is exposition. Every week I say, oh, this is the exposition, so the next week we can get to the meat of the subject. And then I say the same thing again next week. And I'm starting to see a pattern. We're grappling with these huge high-concept sci-fi ideas, but not getting to the bones of them. This is meant to be, I assume, the closest we get to an explanation episode. Someone actually laying out what is happening and why. But everyone is so vague. There's simple, boring answers behind these mysteries, with none of the satisfaction.
Was what the Master told me true?
Yes.
We still don't know who the fuck the Ravagers are. What is their deal? Anything, I'm begging you, Chris. A lot of this stuff was an episode 1 or 2 addition. Any good story's gotta have a mystery or 15, but I genuinely do not think that the finale should be explaining who our characters are and why we are watching them at all. Brendan. Yet again, I enjoyed this episode whilst it was on, but the second it was over, I'm questioning pretty much every aspect of it. A rewatch will probably reveal that I hate every other line in it. How did we get here? I think it was a very boggling 50 minutes. A lot of flash second moments of abstract weirdness. Why have they got beards? The Great Wall of China? Why are unit relevant now? I'm sorry, the core of the drama is this? Yay, more multiverses. They're in right now. Are we making the unit timeline more difficult to understand?
Division is simple and indescribable.
No, it's not. It's exactly what we all thought it was. There was no mystery here. A piece of pottery that predicts the dates of the Flux. Huh? Is anyone still thinking about the Great Wall of China bit? I don't even know how to react to you. There's a reason these episodes are so watchable, and it's because you genuinely never know what kind of bullshit you're going to be given next. It's a roller coaster ride of unintentional weirdness. I also think this is the best example of this series so far, where this story has about 3 different ideas for episodes in it, but not enough inspiration to make them the proper length they should be. Dan and Yaz traveling the world in a doctorless story. Obviously, we would all like to see that. Could be a godsend for character. The establishment and infiltration of units. Another B story that deserves more time in the sun. These are all proof of concept pitches for episodes. And I feel like they're only in the episode for 10 minutes apiece because Chris simply didn't have anything. In a proper series, maybe you would give those ideas to other writers, and it would feel less like a constant espresso nightmare. Right, I don't have that much to actually say about this episode in particular, just because of general fatigue. I don't know how some of you are distinguishing between episodes. They all seem to have the exact same problems and strengths. So I'm just going to comment on where my head's at this late stage of the day, and how, let's face it, I'm going to start wrapping up Flux. What's the opposite of too many cooks? Anyway. To give this run one last benefit of the doubt, I do think this is meant to be part 1 of a 2-part finale, set up a lot of details that will get paid off next week. I don't know why I was focusing on the things that we're focusing on though, and I don't think that's a good thing to be questioning in the moment of watching it. And I stand by that, actually. It feels like all the much needed screen time is being spent in odd places. Survivor of the Flux feels uneven, even on a first watch. Did we need more players? Introducing characters in the finale staging is an insane decision. Is it a mini-series or is it one giant story? The distinction does matter. I caught June, the movie June in cinemas last week. There's an example. It doesn't follow traditional 3-act structure because it's only adapting the first half of a story, but it tells you this right up front. It says part 1. And as a reader-viewer, I really appreciate knowing where I am in a story. It orientates you so much on a subconscious level, and I've been asking these questions since episode 2.
Don't you see?
No.
No?
There are too many participants in Flux, contributing to the general sense that this story isn't about anything. Never before has well-made TV been less fun to follow. I love everything about this production behind the camera. Technically, it is gorgeous. I love that such a young production team can go toe-to-toe with high-end drama. But I just find the content thoroughly unrewarding to watch. Entertaining, but unrewarding. You know, I just think Chibnall arcs aren't for me. Espresso imagery and exposition dumps as finale staging will never be satisfying to my adult sensibilities, but I know also the kid in me would have given up by this point as well. I felt similarly back in 2012-2013 with the Moffat stuff, and I voiced it then. I can enjoy a story, I hesitate to call it a story at this point. I can enjoy an event about lore, superficially. And I do. I like watching it when it's on. But I said back at the start of these videos that this season would be a test of faith. And I think I was bang on, because that faith is just tired now. Before anything else, I am tired of Flux. 5 weeks have shown me good cinematography and shiny monsters with this dynamic presentation, but also lack of interior value will do that. Good episode, fun, well-made TV, but I miss substance. I miss caring about the subjects on screen. Every episode of Flux is a 7 out of 10 that potentially could become a 3 out of 10, depending on how it ends, of course, depending on just how much of our time was wasted. Like if the Grand Serpent turns out to be a villain later for the specials, or like a tertiary threat in Flux. This episode just hemorrhaged half of its runtime on nothing. It's not a coherent story. Let's just be nice and call it an event. In the same way Dimensions in Time was. The only goal of this series is to dispense plots, some revelations, and explore the Doctor's missing memories. And they've chosen this approach.
Division is simple and indescribable.
Is it simple or is it indescribable? It sounds simple, but you're going to be indescribable, aren't you? To me, that's a metaphor for Chris Chibnall's writing. But although I've got to say, everything at Tecteun's digs is my favourite stuff so far. It's crap, but I'm so conflicted on it. The Doctor is mad because, hypothetically, she was kidnapped as a child and had her original life maybe taken away from her. Okay, I know why. I mean, it's obviously set up for next week or whenever we find out what happened to the portal. Not the fact that she has missing memories. Not the fact that the Timeless Child is a abuse story. Not the fact that Tecteun experimented on her and killed her as a child multiple times over. Honestly, Chris kind of sweeps that under the rug again. But instead, mad because Tecteun did not leave a child in the middle of nowhere alone. You see, that's not dramatic, that's not drama. It's so beyond detached, especially when all we know about the story is given to us via monologue flashbacks. I guess we didn't see the most important part of the Doctor's story in this, which was her being, I guess, dragged to the ship. Whew, the sparks are really flying.
Pick people up, take them with you. You adopt them, use them for reassurance, for company. They're your experiments, just as you are mine.
We are not the same.
Complete false equivalence. The Doctor never used Sarah Jane as a medical lab rat. Which, by the way, Chibnall is the important part. But at least, it's not more regurgitated Gallifrey angst. It's kind of something new. On one hand, the "you're just like me, Doctor" monologue is absolutely hilarious and cliche, but at least it's not actually just replaying Series 3 again like last year. Say what you like about Tecteun being evil, but at least it's not Sacha Dhawan monologuing. It really helps. You know who actually stole the show this week? Jodie Whittaker. Her performance between Tecteun and the Ood actually give her Doctor some range, some well-needed range, and I loved watching her. Season has brought 3 great Jodie performances, and it's when she's away from Yaz and Dan. Like, every time. I like the angry demand for answers, because that's me! Yo, she's just like me for real. And of course, most importantly, as I did say earlier, we got some answers. The doctor went into a room and was talked at, and was helplessly given all of the information again. But answers. Thank God Chris hadn't forgotten about the Flux back in episode 1. I was starting to think maybe he had. But I realise now that when the exposition was finally coming from Tecteun, the explanation for the world-ending event so far, I wasn't on the edge of my seat because of tension or the promise of answers. It was because I felt like it would be on the test. Like school. It's convoluted nothingness, this series. Flux is no depth, but made convoluted all the same.
Division is simple and indescribable.
No, that's just being obtuse, Chris. On the whole, I'm starting to find watching this a bummer. And it's not even the worst TV, but it's burning me out. Following all the strands is just a task that I don't think will pay off. All work and no payoff at this point. It's fatiguing to keep the basics of a story up in the air for so long. I've given up on the casual viewer, and I'm just worrying and questioning my own involvement with the story. I think storytelling like this makes us all distanced, yet overly active viewers. And that's a really exhausting combination.